They are not, and I think they were actually adopted kids, and there's a lot of backstory that goes with this we don't know yet, so there's more information will be coming in later on. Two of the kids were kin to each other. None of the four were kin to the homeowners.
So these are either husband and wife, or are they boyfriend, girlfriend, or just partners living together in this house who adopted these 4 children?
They didn't adopt these 4 children. These were actually a man and a woman living together in the same house, and the children were adopted by the woman and her estranged husband.
Any indication how long every day these kids were kept in their boxes?
We don't know that for sure, but we don't believe it was an extended period of time, probably a matter of weeks if they've been at this house. What had happened to them and where they were prior to that, we'll know that later on.
Do we know if any of the children needed medical attention?
As far as we know, the officer says that the children were in fairly good shape when he seen them, but they were taken into the custody of DFS, and we don't know that for sure just yet.
You mentioned deplorable conditions. Can you talk to me about that? Describe that to me.
From what the officer is telling me, that there was, like I say, no water, no windows, a bunk, and that's all that was in the actual little rooms that they were locked into.
I'm understanding, so there was no bathrooms either, so there was smell of urine as well.
There was a smell of urine, and it looked like it had been urinating in the vents in the floor.
Any explanation from the suspects once they were arrested as to why they were holding these children this way?
They are here now and being interviewed as we speak. We don't have that info yet.
Any indication who the tipster was? Had the tipster been in that home?
Evidently, yes, and I don't have all that information yet either, but yes, someone that had been involved in the home or close there made the allegations.
In your history as a sheriff here for this county, have you ever seen a case like this?
I've seen some pretty nasty things, but nothing this deplorable here in San Francisco County, and myself and the prosecutor have talked about this. We've seen a lot of different things over the years, but this is the kind of thing happening somewhere else, not here.
Jared, can you weigh in on that as far as?
Yes, I would have to echo what the sheriff said. Anytime you have a case like this and you see these type of conditions, it's shocking. You know, one thing we were talking about earlier is when you see these type of cases, you step back and you say that, you know, that's something you read in a magazine or you see in a science fiction book, but this is something that's real. You know, there actually are people that you know would shock you as to the things you read and the things that the reports that come across your desk. So when you see a case like this and you see the conditions these children are living in, even if it was for a day, it was way too long. So the fact that they may have been there for weeks or may have been there for any extended period of time, our sole concern now is to make sure that they are protected and taken care of, and obviously to seek justice for the people that we're putting in those conditions.
The charges that they're facing, what's the time that they're looking at if convicted of this crime?
Well, the original report that came in, we did not have a complete list of the medical conditions they may be facing, so there could be a chance that charges would be increased. Right now they are facing 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, which is a new Class D felony, so they will be facing 7 years on each of those. And then, of course, it's kidnapping in the 2nd degree. That changed from what used to be called felonious restraint, and that's also a D felony, so 4 more counts of that. So 20 and 56 years as of the charges pending right now. However, once we get the updated medical, the sheriff should have some more of that information later. Those charges could change to higher degrees of endangering or child abuse.
Then went over
Yes, because they were restrained and placed in a position that would have subjected them to, you know, health or bodily injury.
We talked to some neighbors out there today. They said they'd seen the kids working in the yard. They put them to work a lot. They thought they were just helping out. So do you think it was a situation where they would just go in there for punishment and they would be let back out, or they would?
Sheriff, you said so. It wasn't actually a room. We're understanding.
In there, the report that we had indicated that when the entry was made into the home, it appeared that the woman was having to basically unscrew the plywood from the doorway area that was keeping them confined. So they had been in there for some period of time, you know, until we get all the information from the children.
The room, empty room, plywood screwed to the door. Can you correct me if I'm wrong?
So
they're being held in jail here at bond or anything set like that, they're just being held here.
Right now, the charges have been filed originally, and again, there are 4 counts of endangering for each child, and 4 counts of kidnapping in the second degree. So the bond that was requested, I believe, was $500,000. The judge sets that on his own accord. For each person, yes, it'd be $500,000 on each person. So we do have a warrant for each one of those. I believe that's already been served, if I'm correct. So as soon as they are done with the processing, they'll go back to the jail unless they can postpone.
Have they been cooperating?
I believe there is a conversation that is still ongoing that they are conducting with the detectives of St. Francis County. We are still processing that information, and as I said, the more that we get out of them and the more we get from the children, then we'll develop the case a little further.
Jared, sort of a takeaway message from something like this, because people are maybe watching the story who may not be able to relate to this. Why do you want them to care about this story?
Well, anytime you have people that are, children or people that are not able to care for themselves, it certainly takes a village. And in this case, we had somebody who was, for lack of a better word, a tipster, somebody who came forward and said, I want to make sure that these children are taken care of and looked after. And that's what we want as law enforcement officers and officials, is to make sure that everybody cares for the children of our community and protects them. And just because they may be in a new setting, new situation,